Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. In Sanskrit, there is a root called vid, V-I-D. And vid means awareness. From this root, the word Veda comes. To know. How do you know? By awareness. Another meaning of the word vid is existence. An example of a word based from vid is vidyate, which means to exist. That word has been used many times in our study. And the implication of this root is awareness, existence. They are ever. Awareness is ever potent. Existence is ever present. And since it's ever, if I'm not experiencing that, or more accurately, I'm not feeling that, the only possible way this can happen is through forgetfulness. Forgetting my nature is awareness, existence. Taking for granted how everything is happening. Which is why in Meaningful Mornings, we're engaged in smarana. Vismarana, forgetting, taking for granted. Smarana is remembering, being grateful that this is my nature. Reflect lots on this. In the coming days, we will complete chapter 11. We will complete 3 years of Meaningful Mornings for us to feel ever existent, ever aware. In chapter 11, verses 15 to 50 are more dramatic. And that's why the meter or the rhythm of the verses changes from anushtub to trishtub. One of the most amazing verses in this section is number 33, where Shri Krishna shares that the purpose of our life is nimitta. Nimitta means to shift from doership to instrumentship. This is the way to be closer to Shri Krishna. Do any of you watch the show The Mandalorian on Disney Plus? I was just thinking how they say this is the way. That's coming out so strongly in Meaningful Mornings too. This reminds me of a great rishi whose name was Namadeva. And one day he was traveling and there was some of his disciples around and he had some food. He had some roti. Roti is unleavened bread. I don't know. So anyways, a dog comes in, takes this from his hand. And when this dog is scurrying away, this Rishi Namadeva starts shouting, starts crying, starts chasing that dog. And all of the disciples are stopping him. It's just bread. And he shares with them, I'm not concerned about the bread. I also have ghee. I want to put ghee on that bread so that dog can enjoy this food. Ghee is clarified butter. That's what it means to be an instrument, to have that feeling. That's how Shri Krishna feels for us. If I want to be closer to Shri Krishna, I should feel the same way about us. To be an instrument. In verse 52, which we just covered, what is shared is drishtavan asi. You have only been able to see this because of me. Prince Arjuna is the one who's benefiting, but all of this is being facilitated by Shri Krishna. And there's so many of these types of thoughts at the end of this chapter The reason for this is to understand and appreciate how special Prince Arjuna is. And so by association, how special you are. When you feel special, then you feel more inspired, more transformed. That thought comes out more clearly in verse 53. Naham vedirna tapasa nadanena nadanena na chejaya shakya evam vido drashtum drishtavanasi mam yatha. Shri Krishna continues and says, Na aham, which means you can't be close to me, you can't be me through Veda and Tapa. That's the first quarter. When these kinds of thoughts are being shared, we have to be clear. Shri Krishna is not denying the Veda. The Veda is his own breath. What he is sharing is by engaging in Veda Tapa in a calculating way, doing this with the wrong intention, treating this as a ritual, that is not the means to being closer to me, to being me. Veda here means being scholarly about the Veda rather than subjective. Tapa means to burn one's comfort zones, but in this case, it's someone who engages in suppression. Like many of you who signed up for the silence retreat, when you try to sit on the ground for a long period of time, you're just contemplating on your own pain. There's no contemplation happening. In the second quarter, nadana, which means to be generous, to be charitable. But why do you do it? So your name becomes more important than that purpose. And ijja means yajna, or a sacrifice. Or you're sacrificing, but you don't know what you're sacrificing for. Transitioning from the first line to the second line, Shri Krishna has already stated what he's stating in verse 53. He did so in verse 48. He did it in a dramatic way. Now he's doing it in a factual way. And yesterday I gave you another reference from Srimad Bhagavatam that you could be doing all of these things, but you can have it all through bhakti. I'm in the third quarter. Shakya evam vido drashtum. All that has been possible, you seeing me, Shri Krishna is sharing this in different ways. This possibility is not because of you. Now, offering you another reference for verse 48, verse 52. These are examples of someone engaged in a pramana, but that pramana is not engaged in the prameya. Putting this in English, pramana means, a path. Prameya means ends or the purpose. Just because you're following a means doesn't mean you're following the right means. Make sense? Just because I'm driving doesn't mean I'm going in the right direction. I could be driving towards traffic rather than away from it. So Shri Krishna is checking all of us. When you join Meaningful Mornings, what is the ends of this? Some of you think that every day. What is the end of Meaningful Morning? But all, your relationships, your professions. Drishtavanasi mam yatha. This possibility is because of me. Shri Krishna is emphasizing in these final verses the importance of bhakti. Bhakti typically is translated as devotion I find a more dynamic definition is dedication. Dedication can be practiced through bhaja. When we think of bhaja, again, we think of singing, and that's a beginning point. But the evolution of bhaja or singing is to seek, to support, to serve. These are all means if it's leading to surrender. When surrender is becoming natural to you, then you are following the right means. If surrender is becoming harder for you, you are following a means, but not the right means. Then one is engaged in Veda, Tapa, Dana, Ijja, but for what? I don't have the time now, but today, please read the posting on social media, the Rad today. It's an intense thought from Pujya Swami Tejomayananda where he shares, if you're studying Vedanta and you feel you know Vedanta, but you also feel that you're not going to be enlightened in this lifetime, then you don't know Vedanta. Then you've not studied Vedanta. So lots to reflect on that. Surrender should be natural to us. And you know what happens when you surrender your individuality? What happens when the bhakta surrenders? Then we start to be. We no longer become happiness, we are being happiness. When the bhakta surrenders, what remains? Bhagwan. That vid, how I started, is the ever-potent awareness, the ever-present existence. Knowledge is power. Yes? This knowledge should make us feel more powerful. Prince Arjuna felt powerless. Now he's being powered up by this knowledge. Are you feeling more powerful? From inspiration to application. Your application on Monday was to feel that you're a part, and to help another part, all parts, like Rishi Namadeva. Him eating that bread, the dog eating the bread, that should be felt in the same way. On Tuesday was to register for our silence retreat. Our silence retreat is a great experiment in checking your intention. Why are you doing what you're doing? On Wednesday, yesterday, it was to visualize that your body is a boat, your guru is your captain, and your fortune in your life is Shri Krishna's winds. How many of you visualize this? This is a very lovely visualization. And you will find the shore if your dependency shifts to the divine. But as long as we're dependent on articles, beings, and circumstances, we will drown. If you depend on the ocean, you will drown. You depend on the shore, you will be balanced. Your application for this morning is, we are in the final 3 mornings for chapter 11 and our 3rd year of meaningful mornings. 2 more verses and the Sankalpa Vakya. I want you to make something. Make something and bring this to our anniversary party. What you make is based on your own head and heart and hands. But I want you to make something for our anniversary party. It's like a game I play with the kids about going to a picnic. And then Shukla will say, can I bring balloons? And I'll say no. And Vyasa will say, can I bring a basket? And I'll say yes. And they have to figure out, the language in that. So we're all having this anniversary party. What are you bringing? Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be joy.